All right, guys, we're gonna get up and running here. Sharing this to my personal page. We're going to talk about severe weather risks tonight across the Ohio Valley, um, and get going. Share it with a friend. Um, Robert Reinhardt is mad. He has mad faces going on. Sorry that you're mad, Robert. Hope that your day gets better for you. So yeah, let's get into the idea tonight for at least the potential for some severe weather. Um, make sure that sound is okay. Everyone, if it sounds good, will you give me a thumbs up? Say hi, or let's see if I can hear. Yeah, can we hear? Can I hear myself? Severe weather. Yeah, I can hear myself. How about that? You always got to check. You always got to check. Um, One thing you'll get with my live updates is, I'm not just, it's not a super organized, like well polished, high end uh, show here. You're just, what you see is what you get with me. So um, wherever you're tuning in from, tag a friend, share it with a friend. um, and we'll get right into the forecast this morning. As of right now, there are a few scattered thunderstorms throughout the area. I do want to show you the latest radar product so you can see what it is that I'm talking about here. You can see we do have some thunderstorms that are around. Some of them right now are they're strong, gusty storms here. You can see them moving in from Illinois in through portions of western Indiana. There are a few scattered showers developing. This is not what I believe to be the main wave of action tonight, as there is again a slight risk for some severe weather across most of central and southern Indiana is the primary focus into northern Kentucky. But we'll get more in on that here in just a moment. In fact, I'll kind of show you the area that we are most concerned with for tonight. I'll get my other screen set up here as you're watching Radar Loop, and then I will take questions. Okay, I will take questions from you here as soon as I wrap up my analysis. We'll go here to the latest on just rainfall in general over the last 2 days. Again, you can see just how much rain has fallen here, with a couple of different storm clusters that have come through across portions of Iowa and then into Illinois, and we had a couple of isolated, excuse me, a couple of isolated, really heavy thunderstorms here across central Indiana. But you can kind of see the thunderstorms and the observed rainfall department kind of going up and around the periphery of the ridge over there from Iowa, Illinois into Indiana. Okay. So tonight, again, we do have the potential for some severe weather. We have the potential for strong thunderstorms across North and South Dakota and portions of northern Nebraska. And then we have the potential for strong thunderstorms here across portions of eastern Illinois, south central Indiana, central and southern Indiana, and northern Kentucky. And the idea is that these thunderstorms would form they would become kind of scattered about in nature on the north end of the slight risk here this evening from Indianapolis, Charleston over to Effingham. And then they would start to organize perhaps more linear as they progress further down to the south and through portions of south central Indiana, northwestern Kentucky there, Owensboro, Louisville, Frankfort area, probably more of a linear threat from this. So many of you saying, bless you, thank you. I had to sneeze pretty good there. So let's look at the forecast as simulated radar product again from Clarity. You can kind of see the overall risk here going forward. You can see where the thunderstorms start to develop probably right around 5 to 6 p.m. across north central, northwestern Indiana, here from South Bend, Lafayette, over to Watseka. We talked about this last time for those of you that are in Watseka watching. Paxton, eastern there, Illinois. That's where the thunderstorms may start to develop and then start to perhaps become a little bit more organized, at least potentially offering up more severe risks later this evening. Simulated radar guidance is back and forth on just really timing and placement. I want to make sure you understand that looking at this simulated radar, it is not going to be exactly how the radar looks for you or the exact time. It's going to give you a good generalized idea of the threat tonight at 10 at 11 o'clock. But the simulated future radar products are, they're only as good as they can be. They're not going to be perfect. But you see how it gets a little bit more organized there in southern Indiana and then into northern Kentucky. And that's in the overnight hours. That's really at beyond midnight. Here's 1 a.m., 2 a.m., and 3 a.m. You can see how it becomes a little bit more linear with that suggestion there. But regardless, we're going to start watching the development of thunderstorms, probably some of those that can be severe, as early as 5 or 6 o'clock. And then you'll see more activity pop up later tonight between 7 to 10, and eventually 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. there as it goes further south. Now, I'll tell you, we do have a Nowcast product out for this, and it is the timing and the threat assessment here for thunderstorms to develop tonight through Clarity. So if you're in Clarity and you subscribe, we send this to your device, we push it out to you, and you can get this information directly on your phone. But the windows here for development, you see the first window is 4 to 7 p.m. Eastern. Okay, in between the first two black lines. In the middle here, between the second and third black line, that is between 7 p.m. to midnight for severe weather to occur from Vincennes, Bloomington, Columbus, Greenwood, Muncie area. All right, the third one's going to be more from 10 p.m. to 3 a.m. as this starts to get more organized and move off to the south and to the east. So there's some good time windows there for you on what to anticipate tonight for the time window of at least severe weather potential. I do want to show you real quick the area that would really run the highest risk here for at least the potential for some tornado development. And that's going to be right here in the brown. Okay, that's going to be at least our area there for, there's a 5% chance of a tornado within 25 miles of a point here. If you're in the brown, you have a better shot at seeing at least an isolated or brief tornado this evening with some of the thunderstorms that spin up and rotate or can become surface-based early on. You may have the potential there to see some of those storms rotate and offer up the potential of a tornado. So it's not necessarily going to be a major outbreak of severe weather, but it's got the potential to offer up some tornadoes and some damaging winds with it. Or something to keep in mind. This is a look at the visible satellite imagery. And what I want you to keep your eye on when I'm watching is the development of a cumulus field and cloud cover out here across portions of Illinois. Okay, I'm gonna get over here so you can kind of see that. And this is kind of where the next forcing area is located, if you will, the next piece of energy that will at least be available to present the development of thunderstorm clusters. And then we want to look real quick at our CAPE. And this is the energy in the atmosphere that has been allowed to develop. And you can see that there's more CAPE certainly around central and southern Indiana versus here in northern Illinois, where the atmosphere was worked over a little bit earlier this morning. But we're watching these two pieces of energy. There's your low pressure system up there again as it swings through. That will give us the potential there for the thunderstorms to develop. Okay, dew point temperatures, all that, everything in the low 70s. There's plenty of moisture in the air. In fact, any thunderstorms. In fact, you're not even seeing my screen right now, so I apologize for that. Let me switch to that so you can see it. But any thunderstorms that are able to develop tonight will have plenty of moisture in the atmosphere for heavy rain, flash flooding. In fact, we'll look at the moisture content real quick, because last night in Morgan County, we had a storm that put down over 5 inches of rain in like 3 hours. So that's certainly not going to be off the table. The precipitable water values tonight are close to 2 inches, not as high, but those may advect in to be a little bit higher there this evening as we get closer to that. So, cloud and CAPE wasn't on the screen. My apologies. Real quick, it's this action right here in east central Illinois, or north central Illinois, where I'm watching for the next round of storms to start to develop. You can see some development here. There's a couple of boundaries in there, and then the main area of low pressure, the spin, is up here. There's actually a little bit of a front that will offer up the potential there for those storms to develop. So I'll take some questions real quick. Let's see here. Timing headed to Greenwood from Newcastle. I think the Greenwood area, Katie, is probably going to be sometime between the 6 to 10 p.m. time frame. 6 to 10 p.m. time frame, I think, for the thunderstorms to be severe or possibly strong tonight in the Greenwood area? It's a great question. This question here is interesting from Alex. Says, how would you compare the severity of these storms for Terre Haute to the ones that came through at the end of June? I mean, I don't really quite remember the ones that came through at that time, so it's a difficult question for me to answer. I'm not expecting widespread, tons of severe weather. See, but I am at least anticipating the potential for some of them to be strong to severe. So that's a tough question there. Just keep an eye on things. Lazy Cat question here says, do you think they're going to issue a watch? Yeah, I do. I mean, I think there can be a watch tonight. I always love these questions because watches, and things, whether the watch gets issued or not, you'll get the same weather. You know what I'm saying? The weather doesn't follow the watch. The watch, the products follow the weather. You know what I'm saying? So, always a good message here. I work outside. It's mandatory. All right. What's the time frame here? So Mark, I don't know where, or Matt, I'm sorry, I don't know where here is. So if you can clarify. The clearing is working in overall relatively well. So it is allowing for the energy to build kind of as anticipated. Again, we're not talking about a major outbreak of severe weather nonetheless, but the atmosphere is recovering. Yeah, and this is another great question on that, Jennifer. Is the severity of the storms depending on the amount of clearing we get, specifically in West Central Indiana? Yeah, I mean, I would say definitely, the more clearing you get, and you got to keep in mind it's late July. So these thunderstorms, they can, or the energy can rebound relatively quickly. And we can really see, the energy really recover rather easily in this situation. So it won't take much, just a couple hours of a little bit of sunshine, and the energy will come back. So put this into motion while I'm answering questions here. This is an interesting question. Becca says, what's been up with radars lately? It could be pouring rain where I am, and radar shows nothing on several platforms. I don't know. It's a good question. I mean, depends on what platforms you're looking at. A lot of these pop-up thunderstorms can be, they can pop up, pulse up, and pulse down within 5 to 10 minutes. And some of these radars only update every 5 to 10 minutes. And so it's not out of the question that you're just not getting the updated frequency in the radar enough to see the storms develop. Some radars have, filters on them. It's just a loaded question. But at the end of the day, I don't know if you guys know this or not, all radar data comes from the same big white dome in Indianapolis. It's just displayed and shown differently. So all the radar data source really is the same. It's just all about update frequency, color tables, filters, and all that stuff that determine what you're seeing on radar. So little fun fact for you. There's no special radar. Everyone uses the same data. Okay. Great question, though. Someone asking if we could look at timing again. Yeah, we can look at timing again. I just want to show you a graphic that the meteorologist sent out to the devices of our customers through Clarity. And that's the timing there. You can kind of see 4 to 7 across central Illinois, northwestern Indiana. 7 to midnight across central Indiana, 10 p.m. to 3 a.m. across southeastern Indiana, and down through 2 a.m. to 7 a.m. Down in Kentucky. So, yeah, Becca, I mean, they're all going to be different. And so I wouldn't, I wouldn't use any of the local media's stuff personally. It's just not made for people that, know a little bit more than usual. I don't know. My opinion there. Kelly says, do you think if we get a tornado, it will be a strong one, or do you think it's more spin ups? I don't think we're really necessarily looking at an environment favorable for strong tornadoes. So more of a spin up, enough to cause some problems, but not necessarily a strong tornado, I don't think right now. Let's see. Is Indianapolis area looking like severe weather? Kayla says, or it's going to be a bit more south. I think Indianapolis metro area is certainly in play, and it'll shift southward over time. So I don't necessarily think this is a derecho setup right now. I mean, I can't obviously rule that out. Some of those, sometimes they have a mind of their own, but it's tough to rule out, whether or not it'll be a derecho, at least at this current point in time. So, yeah, that's it, Becca. That's the thing. Someone asked an interesting question. They said, "What is your hobby other than weather?" Uh, I don't know. I like to exercise. I like cigars. I like bourbon. I like to read. I like to hang out with my family. So, pretty normal guy, I guess you could say. Um, awesome. Okay. Well, that's all I have for now. Keep an eye on the timing for tonight, and if we see the potential for a watch, and if we have one issued, we'll come on and keep you posted. If weather's getting a little wild, we'll come on and update. We normally don't go live for just severe thunderstorm warnings unless there's a lot of them or they're kind of firing up quickly. So we'll gauge the situation tonight on if we'll go live again. But just be on the lookout for severe weather across central and southern Indiana tonight between about 5 p.m. to midnight, and we will keep you posted if anything changes. So share it with a friend, tag a friend. Have a wonderful